The Minnesota Vikings offensive line, which has been pretty decent at times this year, had a biblically, just historically bad day. Like, I was expecting plagues and locusts and firstborns just being all out of here on Sunday against the Cowboys. It was just a disaster. And Kirk was lucky that he wasn't put in the Kirk locker, but overall, it was the terrible, no good, very bad day for the offensive line. 7 sacks allowed, which is the most in Kirk Cousins' career, which is kind of amazing considering some of the offensive lines that he's had here with the Vikings. 25 pressures, a 63% pressure rate, so the Cowboys got heat on 25 of 40 snaps. And again, it wasn't like Dan Quinn was sending the house every single time playing under smoke engage 8. It wasn't that, man. Dallas had a 57% win rate rushing 4. So whenever they rushed 4 down linemen, they were getting home almost 60% of the time, which is just unacceptable. It's ridiculous. You're at home. And part of it is on Cousins hanging on to the ball too long, especially that first strip sack against Micah Parsons. Yes. But also part of it is offensive linemen getting their ass kicked, coaching staff, Kevin O'Connell being too obtuse, not going to more max protect, not going to quicker passes. And then also game script got away where the Cowboys were pinning the ears back because the Vikings were in pass mode, even though the running game was pretty damn good at times during that game. And there's a reason why. I mean, Micah Parsons left where he dinged up his knee. He came back into the game when Nick Mullins was in there because he wanted to pad his stats. He wanted to get sacks. So you have a banged up offensive line with a backup left tackle. Your backup quarterback is in, and I have a chance to really pad my stats and get paid. And it's I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. So this is one of these games that you just take the game tape, just set it on fire, like John Denver's Country Music Award, and it's tough, man. It's tough, especially losing Christian Darrisaw, who is now out with a concussion. Kevin O'Connell's already ruled him out for Thursday, so 2 concussions in a row. I mean, it's just really rough. But of course, health and safety is first with Darrisaw. Blake Brandel, who played well in the Bills game, did not play well in the Cowboys game, and the offensive line as a whole, they didn't do very well. Like, the only guys who played decent were Ezra and Brian O'Neill, but Bradbury, gave up 5 pressures. Ingram gave up 3 pressures and a sack. Darrisaw even gave up 2 sacks, both of them on third down. Brandel gave up 2, so I mean, it was rough. Plus, they had 3 penalties, so it was just an all-around horrible day for the Vikings offensive line. But hey, don't worry, it gets better because Thursday, Matt Judon, who's leading the NFL in sacks and is up there in pressures, one of the best edge rushers in the game, it's okay, he's coming in. And the Patriots defense is really, really damn good, and that pass rush is legit. But there are ways that Kevin O'Connell can work around this. And because now, this is actually exciting because we get to see what kind of coach Kevin O'Connell is. Can he get his team back up after getting dismantled? Can he make offensive adjustments so that he isn't leaving Kirk Cousins out there to dry? So ways that they can help the offensive line. Number 1, run the ball. I mean, as weird as it sounds, I mean, Dalvin was making hay. He was getting 6.5 yards a carry. Dalvin's looking good. He was a catalyst against the Bills. Dalvin's, frankly, played some of the best ball of his career since the Dolphins game. And so you can't sack the quarterback if you run the ball. Beep, bop, 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 boop. That's how that works. Number 2, max protect. So there were so many times, and it was so frustrating in the second half against the Cowboys where the Vikings could have maybe clawed their way back in. Probably not, but at least make a good showing of yourself. But they were still putting 5 out in the pattern. So it was 5 offensive linemen. They were clearly overmatched against the Cowboys front 4, and it wasn't even keeping the back in. It wasn't even a tight end chipping. It was just Cousins getting to the top of his drop and then getting buried, and it was embarrassing. So maybe not full-on max protect with only 2 receivers out, but have the tight end chip. Have Hockenson or Munt. Munt's a very solid blocker. Or having C.J. Ham in there as a pass protector. Or Dalvin in there just getting bodies on people. So you got to protect Kirk Cousins, because if Kirk Cousins can't get to the top of his drop back, and then guess what? He can't get the ball to Jefferson. Guess what? We're not going to move the ball down the field. Number 3, slap protection. So with this offensive line, I mean, it's going to be tough overall. You do not want to put Blake Brandel in one-on-one spots against Matt Judon. You don't want to do that. So sliding so that Brandel's able to have the outside, then having double teams with Ezra, and then also having the tight end on the backside makes a ton of sense. So you're able to cover up some of the deficiencies along the offensive line with some smoke and mirrors. And number 4, just double Judon. Like, wherever he goes, make sure that there's a tight end. Make sure that there's 2 offensive linemen on number 9. And then also play action, move in the pocket, and that stems off of running the ball. Play action is going to be wide open. Just moving the pocket, having Kirk get on the outside, doing half rollouts, half boots, whatever. Just anything besides the, hey, blocking with 5 to 7 step drop, and then Kirk just gets buried. And they're just quick throws, right? So, again, I understand that the Vikings were in catch-up mode, and they need to run Buffalo right 7 heaven or the equivalent, like 17 times to get back in. But just getting the ball out of Kirk's hands to the playmakers, have yards after the catch, you got to do that. You got to do that, because otherwise this Patriots defense, it's very good, and they will smoke your ass if you're dropping 5-7 steps every single time. So it's rough. It's rough because I thought we were finally past some of these offensive line issues, but, hoping for the health for Christian Darrisaw, but don't want him to return until he's 100% good to go. But they got to solve these. They got to solve these issues, man. So it's rough. I'm a little bit worried because, Matt Judon is a friggin' dude, man. So that's going to be tough. But I think the Vikings, can get their ish together. And I think Kevin O'Connell, again, we're going to find out what kind of coach that he is. I think he's smart enough to understand what his offensive line can and can't do. And hopefully he's not going to leave Kirk Cousins out to dry like he did at the end of the Dallas game. So we'll see what happens. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings offensive line had a very horrible day Sunday, and how they can bounce back on Thursday. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.